A big change could be coming to how jury verdicts are handled in Michigan by judges. Most people don't realize that if you sue someone in civil court and a jury reaches a verdict, it doesn't necessarily mean that verdict will stand. In fact, if the judge disagrees with it, they have the power to set the verdict aside and order a new trial. Now, critics say this system is bogging down our judicial system, which is already facing a massive backlog of cases due to COVID-19 restrictions. Now, a massive billboard campaign is underway in a push to change that law. 7 Action News reporter Simon Shaquette is digging into both sides.
Sponsors of a new proposal just passed in the state Senate say they're aiming to improve our state's judicial system, specifically when it comes to civil cases and jury verdicts, when the judge doesn't agree.
I think the judge just didn't like the fact that the jury awarded the plaintiff $0 and sided for my client at the time was General Motors.
For more than 30 years, attorney Thomas Brannigan has taken on some of the biggest civil cases in America. In one case in particular, he was hired by Detroit automaker General Motors to defend the car maker in a major lawsuit filed by a vehicle owner.
Allegation of product liability involving a seatbelt. He was ejected from his vehicle during a rollover and seriously injured. And we prevailed in convincing a jury that he wasn't even wearing the seatbelt.
Tom's experience of convincing a jury did not sit well with a judge in the case who advocated for another trial and setting aside the original verdict. In Michigan, statistics show the cost to taxpayers for a new trial can run from $1,500 to $2,000 a day, and verdicts are set aside 50 or more times a year. Now, Senate Bill 408 is pledging to improve the system and headed to the state house for a vote.
And it's only for civil cases. It doesn't include medical malpractice. It doesn't include personal injury cases or criminal cases.
Specializing in civil rights cases, Nabia Yad has also represented a client in a civil case where a judge was at odds with a jury's verdict. Ayad and others are now part of a major billboard campaign across Metro Detroit to raise awareness and advocate for such cases to get immediate review by the State Court of Appeals.
You can imagine the harm that it brings to a person that's successful after a long, hard battle that took possibly years to come down. Now they have to redo again. Right now, the way it exists, if a judge does set it aside, the Michigan Court of Appeals will not hear their arguments on this new trial until the second trial is over.
Republican State Senator Jim Runstad worked on the bill passed in the Senate, calling it a common sense measure that's received bipartisan support.
There's a glitch in the law that a judge who may not even have presided over the case gets assigned to the case and says, well, for whatever reason, I'm going to overturn that jury verdict.
Yet opposition exists. Democrat State Senator Jeff Irwin voted no and says there are more important topics to tackle.
From where you're sitting, what's at stake here?
And what's at stake is that we would divert ourselves from the most important conversations in our state. We've got billions of dollars in federal revenue that needs to be allocated for our schools, for our small businesses, for unemployed workers.
Records we found show these types of cases fuel debate each time they pop up and can involve everyday citizens as well as large companies. While billboards across southeast Michigan highways are catching more and more attention, opponents insist our state's civil court system doesn't need change.
It seems to me that we already have clear and fair rules in the court rules to deal with this situation. The legislature really doesn't have to come in and short circuit it.
Lawmakers tell us this is now headed to the state house and a vote could happen in as soon as just a few weeks. We'll bring you the latest developments on this story as soon as they happen. Simon Shaquette, 7 Action News.
Simon, thank you. And for more on these reform efforts and the taxpayer cost of a jury trial, please head to WXYZ.com.